Honor and War.
On patrol, Velasquez again picking up a mount on a Mott horse that usually goes to Jerry Bailey. Interesting to see if he can get that. And of course, keep an eye. We mentioned quickly Perfect Drift, the Derby horse from a year ago. Janine, how do you see this?
Well, I've kind of got my eye on number 1, Riquette. That's Bobby Frankel's horse right there. As you said, Edgar Prado in the saddle. This horse is very lightly raced. He's a 4-year-old. He's only started 6 times, but he's won 3 races, and he was a little too close to the pace last time out in the explosive bid handicap, and he did lose his closing kick. This may not be his preferred distance. He's kind of rank when he runs. He needs to stay covered up, and I think that's the key to him today.
Riquette is a horse that has been working in the morning with Empire Maker, and Empire Maker's been dominating him in workouts. We'll see if that breaks his confidence or anything in the race today.
Perfect Drift, again, the horse that ran 3rd in the Derby, the 3rd choice here at 5-1. Seems to like the turf. Shifted over to the turf and is 1 for 1.
They're not quite sure if they're going to make him a turf horse or just kind of go back and forth.
Really?
Certainly, it gives him more options.
Well, just about finished loading. Let's go to Luke Kripos for the call. Woodford Reserve Turf Classic.
Thanks a lot, Chris. Honor and War going up to the outside gate. I think I've got Rouvre down, kind of like the Louvre, but Honor and War all set. Set for the start from Roger Nagel. Off and running in the Woodford Reserve Turf Classic. Good even start. Rouvre to the front early. Active Patrol on the outside with Anticipation. Broke well, but he's wrangled back now. Century City even the scorer on the far outside with Honor and War. And in behind that comes Perfect Drift. At the back of the pack, Riquette trails. Passing the stands, it's Patrol and Cornelio Velasquez. 3 parts of a length in front. Even the score, and Shane Sellers off his flank to the outside, tracking second. Honor and War is 4 off the pace third. Rouvre rides the hedge in 4th by 5 more to Perfect Drift. Neck in front now, Century City on the outside, and the gray with Anticipation. He's second last today under Pat Day, and a length in front of Riquette at the back of the pack as they wheel on the backside. Opening quarter, 24 and 1/5 seconds. Patrol leads the way, tugging hard, a length and a half in front. Rouvre tracking off his heels second, even the scores in third. Honor and War fourth. Perfect Drift is splitting horses and coming on now. Century City's on the far outside. They're followed by Riquette and the gray with Anticipation at the back of the field. That's bunching up past the half-mile pole now. Now just 7 lengths front to back as they hit the far turn. The half in 47 and 4. Patrol leads it from Rouvre right there, turning up the pressure second. Even the scores on the outside, racing in third. Then Honor and War up the inside. He'll need a seam. Perfect Drift is next, followed up by Century City on the outside with Anticipation. Is scrubbed on at the back of the pack with Riquette in the stretch drive. It's Patrol off the turn in front by a length. Honor and War has clear sailing, and he's up to tackle him from the outside. Riquette is charging at the hedge, then Perfect Drift with Anticipation coming on too late. It's Honor and War, and David Flores opening up a length and a half. Patrol on the inside second, then Riquette. Honor and War is clear. Honor and War at 24-1 upsets the Woodford Reserve Turf Classic by a length and 3/4. Riquette second, and Patrol third in 1:46 and 3.
Honor and War's trainer Paul McGee just had a feeling. This is the graded stakes debut. Allowance runners step it up in class. Why not take a shot on Derby Day for a guy with Kentucky roots? And that is a big score for Honor and War.
McGee very confident now. Honor and War, a grade 1 winner. He wasn't even a stakes winner at all prior to this race. And McGee, I mean, what a big day for him. He's a Louisville native, a Louisville resident, and he also happens to be the brother-in-law of Ron Ellis, the trainer of That's What I'm Talking About. So it's a family thing today.
Well, I guess he's answered the question, can he step up in class, or is he in over his head? This was impressive.
Oh, it was very impressive. I mean, at one point, I thought Rouvre was in a perfect spot. Then it looked like Patrol was going to kick clear. But I tell you what, this horse has really made a name for himself. Honor and War, a 4-year-old colt by Lord at War, ridden by David Flores. Very impressive.
And just to pay off the favorite with Anticipation, the 4, you said first off a layoff, just not real impressive.
Now he's 0 for 6 coming back off a layoff, but he will be back this year, believe me.
Winning rider is David Flores on Honor and War. David, terrific ride there. Paul McGee, now we see why he was so confident about this guy stepping up in class today.
First of all, thank you very much, and thanks to Paul McGee to put me on this horse. What a pleasure to ride for this guy. And, you know, this horse is so nice. Actually breaking, so sitting in a good spot, and when it was time to go, boy, he responds very strong.
This is certainly a nice warm-up for the Kentucky Derby coming up next. And Ron Ellis has already said that you were instrumental in the decision to put blinkers on. That's what I'm talking about. How much of a difference do you think it'll make in it?
Well, it's a great thing. Good things from Ron Ellis. You know, I think this team they're working so hard to get this horse ready for this race, and this is what we pointed on. And you know, I hope those blinkers, they're gonna make the difference. And actually, the horse is doing great. He works awesome the last week, so I just praying God that everybody be safe, and I hope we get it done.
David, real quick, what's your strategy? How far off the lead do you expect to be? Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Well, I don't know what kind of pace it's going to be. I hope it'll be a good pace, and if it's a good pace, we'll probably be inside 10 lengths, or if not, maybe closer.
All right, David, congratulations. Honor in War, winner of the Woodford Reserve. Love when you can talk to jockeys, you know, just about an hour before they go in the saddle for the Derby and ask about tactics. And of course, we don't know how the thing is going to unfold, but I think it's something to keep an eye on. The late, similar style to Honor and War, the late closer.
And also something to keep an eye on, that all day long we've seen horses, of course that was a grass race, but we've seen horses on the main track, closed ground, so many times in these big races. Even on Kentucky Derby Day, you see speed favoring racetracks, and that's not what we have today. It looks like a very honest racetrack for the Derby, which is what you want to see.
Does that mean you're going to go with a closer? Just about that time, everyone else has weighed in with their opinions. There have been a couple of votes for 10 Most Wanted, a couple for Indian Express, and Hank's going with the favorite, who he's been on since December. So you get a chance to weigh in. Take about 30 seconds to see what you think.
I had closers 1-2 to begin with, and I certainly haven't seen anything today to dissuade me from that. I like Empire Maker. I like 10 Most Wanted second, and Indian Express third, and Brancusi has a long shot to throw in there in your super fights.
I'm just going to throw in Brancusi as well. There's an almost scary consensus of opinion. Those three horses mentioned by just about everybody.
Who do you like?
Well, I'm with Hank. I think unless there's something wrong with Empire Maker, I think the horse will win. If there is something, if he's not right, he'll run off the board. So I would back it up with some trifecta tickets that do not include the favorite and put him on top of about three others. Is that enough of a pick? All right, you like that? You saw the official prices for the Woodford Reserve after NBC's coverage. Coming back for the Derby Highlight Show at 6:30 Eastern. I'm on ESPN2. For our entire racing crew, thanks for joining us here at Churchill Downs on Derby Day. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
It was the most unbelievable thing that ever happened to me in my life.
For one more than just a racetrack. It becomes the place where legends are made.
The Derby can be very addicting. It's a happening, and it's the one you want to be in. This is what it's all about.
Today, 16 horses will make their run for the roses. Their run at immortality. Bobby Frankel has won it all, except for the Derby. This year, he has his best chance with the favorite, Empire Maker, and his stablemate, Peace Rules. For 129 years, the first Saturday in May has become a celebration of America. Today is the day when all the years of hard work and determination come down to 2 minutes. beneath the twin spires of Churchill Downs. The Kentucky Derby. It's the quest that unites all those who've gathered beneath the ancient twin spires this first Saturday in May, creating unmatched spectacle. From Millionaire's Row to the clubhouse and grandstand, the outfits rival the jockey silks for color and variety. And the hats, oh, the hats, required ladies' apparel on Derby Day. In the infield, the party began early and continues to this moment, a raucous celebration of spring. There's always a special Derby buzz when a horse fires the imagination and prompts dreams of greatness. And that's the case today with the royally bred Empire Maker. His trainer, Bobby Frankel, has been at the top of the sport, but has never won the greatest prize of all. And this week, news that Empire Maker has a bruised foot. Insignificant? Or will it open the door? Maybe for Frankel's other horse, Peace Rules. Perhaps 10 Most Wanted will escape apprehension as he bounds down the stretch. Or maybe the Hollywood horse, that's what I'm talking about, will set tongues wagging. They train long shots today, but ignore Baffert and Lucas at your own risk. Time now for jockeys to gather their thoughts. Do they dare dream? To win the Derby, for some it means a sip of mint julep and a ticket to cash. For one, the sweet smell of roses would be the final validation of a Hall of Fame career. The 129th running of the Kentucky Derby, it's at the mile and a quarter distance. All will carry 126 pounds for a purse of $1 million added. And it's a beautiful day. The sun has been peeking in and out of the clouds all afternoon. The temperature a very comfortable mid-60s at the moment as we come up to Kentucky Derby race coming up in just a moment. The track is fast, and you see the horses now that have been in the last race, the Woodford Reserve, heading back to the stable area, and soon the Derby horses will make their appearance. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Churchill Downs. I'm Tom Hammond, and this Derby 129, the story of a human as much as of a horse, Bobby Frankel, trying to fill the only hole in his resume by winning a Triple Crown race. And this is his best chance. He has two horses, Peace Rules and Empire Maker, the favorite, who seemingly has all the qualifications: impeccable breeding, past performances, winner of the Florida Derby and the Wood Memorial, the ability to go a distance. His pedigree and 4 mile and an eighth races indicate he should be able to go that mile and a quarter of the Kentucky Derby. Plus, he has champion trainer Bobby Frankel and champion jockey Jerry Bailey. Now, he opened up in the betting on the morning line at 6-5. That's the lowest since Arazi in 1992. But one of the big stories has been the fact that he has been creeping up since the betting opened. Here are the current odds. Super Blitz at 35, Brancusi 28, Sir Cherokee injured yesterday, scratched. That's what I'm talking about in Peace Rules at 7-1. Funny Side 13-1. Awfully Wild 26, Buddy Gill at 6-1, Indian Express, that's the Baffert trainee, 9-1. Lone Star Sky a long shot, as is Domestic Dispute. There is Empire Maker currently holding at a surprising 4-1. And as we complete the odds for the 16 runners, Eye of the Tiger, 10 cents a shine, Out of Here, all long shots. 10 Most Wanted getting a lot of play at 5-1. And one of the Lucas trainees, Scrimshaw, is at 14-1. And we're joined now by the birthday girl, Charlsie Canty. Happy birthday, Charlsie. But in looking at those odds, it's been sort of a shocking development. We know that only one Derby favorite has won since 1979, Fusaichi Pegasus in 2000. But are they worrying about the bettors, the bruised foot?
Well, it is a concern. Last Sunday in his final workout before the Kentucky Derby, he aggravated a bruise that he had suffered last month in the Wood Memorial. So they immediately, when they saw that he was off, when he returned to the track on Tuesday, they jumped right on it. The blacksmith came and 3/4 his shoe to take the pressure off that foot. They tubbed him every day in Epsom salts, and he's been getting gradually better and better. He did return to the track day before yesterday. He galloped. Today, he galloped. He showed a little bit of that very difficult behavior, that temperament that runs in the family. But this was a part of him before the bruised foot came up. This is what he does. We can probably tell more about how things are going by Bobby Frankel's body language. He's known to be pretty volatile when things aren't going his way. And frankly, he's been downright jovial, really laid back all week. So he must be pretty confident.
Well, one has to trust that Bobby Frankel wouldn't run the horse if there was something wrong with him. But Frankel and Empire Maker aren't the only story at this Kentucky Derby. There are lots of other subplots as well. And to review those, let's go to our handicappers, Mike Battaglia, Bob Newmeyer.
Well, that's right, Tom. And while Bobby Frankel and Empire Maker deserve to be the focus of attention, it seems like improbable things always happen on Derby Day. And Bob, wouldn't it be a great story if Rosemary Homeister became the first female to win the Kentucky Derby? She's going to do it. It's going to be on a 50-to-1 shot Super Blitz.
Oh, you're right. And wouldn't it be a great story if Buddy Gill won the Derby? He grew up on the Snake River Plains of Idaho, believe it or not. And Gary Stevens, his jockey, wasn't even in the game a few months ago. He was on a movie set making a movie, Seabiscuit.
Wouldn't it be a great story if That's What I'm Talking About won? Hollywood owners, a West Coast trainer, but definite ties to Louisville. Ron Ellis, the trainer. His wife, Amy, grew up right here in Louisville. Her brother, Paul McGee, just won the Grade 1 Woodford Reserve. Amy's been dreaming about a Derby winner since she was a little girl.
Wouldn't it be an ironic story if Peace Rules won the Derby? This is Frankel's B-horse, or second stringer, if you will, but they've had success over the years. Thunder Gulch, Charismatic, Real Quiet, just to name a few.
How about a great story if Wally DeLassy wins with 10 Most Wanted? He was fired as from the Thoroughbred Corp, a powerful stable. Now he could win it with the owners he had prior to that, and it would be just a great story if Wally won the Derby.
And it would be a historical story, Mike, if Funny Side won, and his trainer, Barclay Tagg, first-time Derby starter. This is a New York bred. No New York bred has ever won this race. And he, along with Buddy Gill, are the only geldings in this race. You have to go back to the stock market crash of 1929 to find the last gelding to win this race.
You know what, Tom? By the end of the day, whoever wins this Kentucky Derby, it's going to be a great story.
As it always is, Mike, but there are plenty of stories to follow today. And, of course, it wouldn't be a Derby story without a look at the infield. Only one member of our crew is brave enough to try it. It's Kenny Rice. Somewhere in that mass of humanity, Kenny is checking it out.
Hey, Tom, and welcome to the Derby infield, the other side of the track. Over 50,000 people are here again this year. They have paid $40 apiece. That is $40 just to get in, part of the Kentucky Derby experience, because they won't get to see the race today, certainly not from this vantage point. But just like every year, we have a new crop of 3-year-old thoroughbreds that come here. We also have a new group of college students that come from all over the country. And like Ohio State, yeah. And they enjoy it so much that they come back year after year, turning this into a perpetual spring break. We have 50-year-olds here who at one time brought their transistor radios to listen to Bob Dylan, now mingling with 20-year-olds who are listening to some other kinds of music that most of the 50-year-olds can't relate to, but they enjoy it just the same. Although personally, I like to listen to No Doubt music, which some of the guys were just a minute ago. Anyway, as you can probably tell, they jump into this eternal, perpetual spring break each year into this 100-proof fountain of youth. And Tom, I'll tell you one thing is for certain. Lots of shirts, thousands of shirts will be lost here this year without anyone taking off their clothes.
We may not see him the rest of the day. I'm happy Kenny survived. I think I'm also happy he didn't take his shirt off during that report. I told you it took courage. Well, Bobby Frankel has not only dominated Derby talk in these days leading up to the Run for the Roses, but he is dominating the races today. As we speak, he's already won 3 graded stakes on the undercard at Churchill Downs. Ala Barron won the Churchill Downs Handicap under Jerry Bailey. And then it was Heat Hayes in the Citgo Distaff Turf Mile. Jose Valdivia in the irons for that score in the Juddmonte Silks. And then Sightseek won the Humana Distaff under Jerry Bailey. It has been already a fantastic day for Bobby Frankel. In fact, in the Woodford Reserve, the only one he didn't win, he ran second. So the Frankel barn has been a busy place this afternoon, and that's where Donna Brothers is right now. Donna?
Tom, I am here at the Frankel Barn. Today's day for Bobby Frankel would be a hugely successful day by anybody else's measure of success, except Bobby Frankel's not going to be happy unless he wins the Kentucky Derby. At 4-1, it looks like some of the bettors have backed off of his horse. I can tell you his barn has been surrounded by fans, by press, and his barn staff has been jubilant. And believe me, they're not done. They think they have one more race to win on the card, and they're set to do it. Tom?
That would be the one, Donna. And if you'd like to log on and cast your ballot for who you think will win the Kentucky Derby, it's all to NBCSports.com. In-depth coverage of the Derby, plus that special interactive feature. You can handicap today's race, make your cyber capping pick, and compare it to Bob and Mike, all at NBCSports.com. And while you're on, you might want to visit KentuckyDerby.com. There's a chance to win $5 million. Pick the exact order of today's Derby finish. You could be $5 million richer. It's free at KentuckyDerby.com. The entries must be received no later than 5:45 Eastern Time. The 129th running of the Kentucky Derby from Churchill Downs in Louisville. We're underway beneath the Twin Spires. The 129th running of the Kentucky Derby is brought to you by Visa, proud sponsor of the Visa Triple Crown. By Goodyear, reminding you to take all your journeys on the wings of Goodyear. And by Buick, proud sponsor of today's broadcast of the Visa Triple Crown. Welcome back to the Kentucky Derby. You get an idea of the immensity of the crowd on hand today. An aerial view is courtesy of the Goodyear Tire and Rubber Company. Above us today, the Ohio-based blimp Spirit of Goodyear, continuing a 78-year tradition of appearances at major events. Let's update you on the odds now for this edition of the Kentucky Derby. And Empire Maker continues to be a surprise. Let's check the current odds. Super Blitz and Brancusi are long shots at what I'm talking about at Peace Rule. Still at 7. Funny Side 14-1. Awfully Wild at 25. Buddy Gill, winner of the Santa Anita Derby, 5-1. Indian Express 9-1. Lone Star Sky and Domestic Disputes are long shots. Empire Maker now down to 7-2. That's 3.5-1. Then Eye of the Tiger, 10 cents a shine out of here. 10 Most Wanted at 5-1, and Scrimshaw at 14-1. Well, we told you Bobby Frankel has really been on an incredible roll. Already 3 graded stakes wins on the Churchill Downs card today. And last year he saddled the winners of nearly $18 million. He won 43 graded stakes races. 40 years ago, he was hoping to just pick one good winner at the windows.
Me being on the racetrack was $1 million to 1 when I was a kid growing up. Growing up in Brooklyn, all I saw was cement. When I played ball, I played on the blacktop, and very rarely I ever saw grass, to be honest with you. I lived in Far Rockaway, maybe 15, 20 minutes from Roosevelt Raceway. My parents took me there one night and gave me a program, and I started studying the program, trying to figure out who's going to win the races. They gave me a few bucks to bet, and I was hooked right there. I got onto the racetrack actually by mistake. I was betting on the horses at the time, and I met this trainer, and he put me on his badge list, and I got a license and a parking sticker. It saved me $3 just to get into the races. It's just, I guess it's just nature, fate that I ended up on the racetrack, because here I am for 40 years.
4 decades at the track has seen Bobby Frankel go from being a gambler in New York to one of the most successful trainers in all of racing. His credentials are impeccable, yet there is still one glaring void. A Kentucky Derby winner. This year he may have the horse to fill out his resume with the favorite, Empire Maker.
From the very, very beginning, people were expecting a lot out of him. In this game, you say things, but very rarely do they come true. But with Empire Maker, he's fulfilled his expectations. This is probably the best chance I'll ever have going to the Kentucky Derby, for sure. That's the one race that I've always wanted to win. I mean, you hear people say, I don't care if I win the Derby then. I might not win it, but I do want to win it. It would be the pinnacle of my, of everything in my life that ever happened, and this is what it's all about.
And there's the gap. This is where the horses are led from the stable area onto the track to make the walk around the oval to the paddock where they'll be saddled for the Kentucky Derby, and soon Bobby Frankel will accompany Peace Rules and Empire Maker to that point to begin the walkover. And Charlie, I guess it's an ironic sign of our times. Here's Bobby Frankel, Jewish-born in Brooklyn, New York, saddling a horse for a Saudi Arabian prince, Khalid Abdullah.
And it's further ironical to me that a boy who is raised in the concrete city life has such an intuitive feel for a horse, and I think that's Bobby's greatest gift. It's almost like he gets inside their head and inside their bodies and can see it before the horse shows it. He's got a great feel, and he's very smart, and he's a good detail man. The same with Wayne Lucas, Bob Baffert. All the highly successful trainers are huge on the detail.
I think to his career as a handicapper helps him train horses. As silly as that may sound, I just really think it gives him an understanding of the game and where to place horses and not take too much out of them.
Well, that's one of the most important things about training horses, is putting them in the right place. What's the old adage? You always want to keep yourself in the best of company and the horses in the worst of company. But today, his horse is in the best of company. So he's obviously confident that Empire Maker's foot is well. I think it's certainly not anything you ever would want to have happen. I mean, you want everything to be absolutely perfect this week. But he has dealt with it, and it doesn't seem to bother him, and we shall see if he were right or wrong. The public was scared, and now they're coming back. The horse's odds are going down.
This has become one of the most dramatic parts of the Kentucky Derby, that walkover. And a lot of owners now understand that. It can make you weak in the knees to stand over there on the backstretch and look at this throng and to think of the immensity of the task ahead. And the horses get a taste of what's to come, too, when they run the gauntlet of all the people at the gap, not realizing what's going to come when they get over on the front side and face 150,000. The walkover begins when we return. The Derby horses are assembling at the gap in the backstretch, and soon to begin that long walk over to the saddling paddock in the run for the Roses. Let's check the odds now. And Super Blitz at 36, Brancusi 26. That's what I'm talking about. Peace Rules holding at 7. Funny Side of 14 to 1 shot. Awfully Wild 25. Buddy Gill at 6. Indian Express 9 to 1. Lone Star Sky Domestic Disputer long shots. Empire Maker 7 to 2. Only 6 Derby favorites have ever gone off at 7 to 2 or higher. Eye of the Tiger 10 cents a shine. Out of here. Long shots 10 most wanted is 5 to 1 in Scrimshaw at 14. Well, there's one glaring omission in the list of top jockeys riding in the Derby here today. Lafitte Pincay, who was hoping for one more Derby victory. But today, Lafitte, emotionally anyway, rides in the saddle with Tyler Bays on Indian Express.
And they're off. It's all Swale. He's there by 4 lengths at the wire. It's Swale winning the Derby. Gets it
by the 16th pole. I knew how the race won, and I'm telling you, I start feeling really good. It's the most unbelievable feeling that I ever felt in my whole career.
The only Derby victory in the storied career of racing's greatest winning jockey. A boy from Panama who set the sport's ultimate mark.
As Lafitte Pincay Jr. becomes the well-known prize winningest jockey.
But even the greatest faltered as age and infrequent wins became intertwined.
You have to learn to take the good days and the bad days. And that's something that it took me a long time to